Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good morning, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the News 8 Live Desk. Hope you're having a great start to your Friday. Your Michigan Panthers had quite the season in 2024, the first winning season since the team was rebirthed and reborn in the USFL. Now the UFL, another playoff appearance for the team, a ton of all UFL players this season, and a few league award winners as well, including the first ever UFL Coach of the Year, who joins us now, Coach Mike Nolan. Coach, thank you so much for stopping by the Live Desk again.
Thank you, Phil. Nice to be on with you.
Of course. And, obviously, congratulations on the season. Obviously didn't end the way you wanted it to go, but a great season nonetheless. And when you kind of, you've spent so many years coaching both in the NFL, now the UFL, I mean, just going through all your different times here. I mean, have you ever had kind of a year like the one you just had with the Panthers, all the injuries piling up, being able to overcome that, making the playoffs, and really just fighting until the very end?
Well, I don't know if I've been through one with as many injuries as we had, but one of the great things about this season I thought was really a pleasure and a joy is the way our team fought through the adversity. Every position, from the quarterback position all the way to the defensive line, and they all suffered a lot of injuries. But the guys that were in the backup role when we started the season became the starters in many cases, and they just did an exceptional job. So really proud of the way they played, and the coaches did a great job as well. So it was I hadn't faced or hadn't been a part of a season, I don't think, with that meant much adversity possibly, but it just made it all the sweeter, winning games and just becoming very close as a football team.
I think definitely covering the team, and then also I know for a lot of fans felt the same way. Just seeing the overcoming of adversity week after week was really awesome to see, and I think all the credit goes out to you and the rest of the coaching staff, Coach. But I mean, do you have a favorite memory, something that really stood out to you this season, whether it was during a game, maybe post-game, maybe in practice, just something that you're always going to kind of hang on to throughout the rest of your coaching journey?
One of the things I think that kind of paints a picture for our football team that comes to mind right away is when E.J. Perry went down at quarterback position. We had Danny Etling and Brian Lewerke were both the quarterbacks at that time, and then we added Bryce Perkins to the roster. So the quarterback position was being adjusted at that time, and the closeness in which those three players came was really a credit to them. They did an outstanding job. They really supported one another, which really I think was indicative of our team. That was kind of what they were all about. So when I do reflect on it, that's really the one thing that stands out. I thought that was a great example of what our entire football team did the entire season, as they continued to group together, support one another, and the quarterback position, as important as it is, that group did an exceptional job. And that first game we came out, as a matter of fact, we just alternated series with Danny Etling and Brian Lewerke, and we won the game. As a matter of fact, we went back-to-back weeks and won a game doing the same process. And then Bryce came into the fold and got his shot, and he did a great job as well when Danny got hurt. So, again, I just think that the quarterback position alone kind of sums it up for what type of a season we had, not only on the field, but off the field in the locker room and meetings and things like that.
And on top of, obviously, the individual performances from the quarterback position, a lot of players on the team. In fact, you guys led the entire UFL and most players on the all-UFL team this year with 7. When you saw those guys get those awards, and then also Breland Speaks winning Defensive Player of the Year, I mean, does that sort of amplify again this season of just how crazy it was, and still being able to have all these players just really show off their talents ahead of throughout the season and throughout the UFL?
I would agree with you. It says a lot about our players to have. We did have the most. We had 7 players on the all UFL team, and that's 7 out of I think it's a total of 25. That includes long snapper, kicker, punter, and all of that. So 7 of the 22 offense and defensive starters were on our football team, which is a real compliment to the players themselves and the hard work they put into it, as well as the coaches, as a matter of fact. I mean, we had some really good coaches. Our coaches did an outstanding job the entire season, because they have to adjust as well when there's a new player. But and then, as you've already mentioned, then on top of that, we got the defensive player of the game in Breland, or in the top for the season, Breland Speaks. And that's back-to-back seasons. Last year we had Frank Ginda, and Breland had a very good season last year. But this year he was the sack leader. I think he had 10.5 sacks when it was all said and done. And again, I mean, the players is where it all starts. and they did an exceptional job. And someone else I failed to mention, but I need to, but Steve Kazar, who's our general manager, he's the one that's in charge of bringing in all the players. And so it really says a lot about the job Steve did when you talk about how many players were recognized as all UFL players.
And kind of on the flip side of that, Coach, I know you said that this season and really the UFL itself is really just all about the players and getting them the exposure that they need. But, you also won a season award. You were named the first ever Coach of the Year for the UFL. Congratulations. But, when you knowing that you were the first ever recipient of that award in a brand new spring football league, I mean, that's got to feel amazing, right?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I've been in this a long time, and I think an award like that, no head coach does anything alone. You oversee a lot of people, and it just kind of is really a testament to the coaching staff that we had, the general manager that we had, Steve Kazar. Our coordinators did an outstanding job, even all the way to our special teams. I mean, our special teams were exceptional this year. We had 3 fake punts. All of them were successful, and not just by a small margin. One was backed up on the minus 20 something, and it was a 4th and 11, and sure enough, they pulled it off and made it work. So a lot of players, and it really speaks, in my opinion, about the entire football team more than anything else. And they can't just give out a bunch of awards to a bunch of people, so they kind of pick the head coach as the guy to give it to. But the reality and the truth of the matter is it takes a lot of people in a sport like football, which is the ultimate team sport, to make it work. And I think that's really what it speaks to. And so that's the part that I'm most pleased with or happy about, is just the fact that our football team, the entire football team, played such a huge part and a role in us having the success that we had this year.
I know that I may be a little bit biased, having been able to cover the team all season long and getting the chance to chat with you a few times this season and also last season as well, Coach, but definitely well-deserved for that award. So again, congratulations there. But before we let you go, obviously there is still a big game. Part of the UFL, the season's not over yet. The Birmingham Stallions are taking on the San Antonio Brahmas in the first ever UFL championship this Sunday. Coach, you played against both teams this season. You've seen what they're both made of. Do you have a prediction or really what you kind of see happening this Sunday in that final game?
No predictions, but I will say I think it's going to be an outstanding game. Look, they've ended up, they're the 2 best teams. I mean, I'd like to say we were one of them, but we lost last week, so we're not. But I think that both those teams, Skip Holt's team in Birmingham and Wade Phillips' team, the San Antonio Brahmas, they're both well deserved of playing in this game. And I think it's going to be an outstanding game. As we know, the Brahmas is the only defeat that Birmingham had this year was a couple of weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks ago, when the Brahmas beat Birmingham. So both teams have a lot of motivation in this game, not just to be the champions, but also for Birmingham to get a little revenge, I guess you could say. But the Brahmas are going to be tough to beat. This is really going to be a good game. I'm really excited to watch it. But I don't have any predictions other than to say I think it's going to be an outstanding game. It'll go right down to the wire.
All right, well, we're definitely looking forward to that one. Coach, thank you so much for stopping by. And again, thank you so much for chatting with us all season long. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil. It's always a pleasure to be on with you.
All right, awesome. And I want to thank everybody else for tuning into this latest edition of the News 8 Live Desk. I'm Phil Pinarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.